to the She's a 10 times 5 show with hosts Laurie Jabbar and Emmick. We're bringing public figures, subject matter experts, and other accomplished guests to the Studio 50 table to serve you up the best tips, tricks, and key takeaways that all us midlifers want to know about. Okay, time to join us for some times 5 fun. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to She's a 10 times 5, the quad. All right, we've got a Z-quad. Okay. I decided to join Randi with my Magoo glasses so she wouldn't feel left out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we've got our recurring host, Randi Crawford, our Shetty certified life coach of Randi Crawford Coaching.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, and we've got Emmick, the editor-in-chief of our favorite Ask Us Beauty magazine.
Hello, beautiful friends.
Hello. And then we've got our recently graduated from college, TCU friend at the table for a very special episode. So it's kind of like our college week, but this is post-graduate college week. Connor Jabbar.
Hello, everybody.
Who I might know a little bit about. Just saying. Cool. Thank you for wearing the Army Navy shirt. Appreciate that. Yep. That's going to help you down the line for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. We just launched this week a new guest episode with someone that has gotten a favorable response in the past. So this is her second time in Studio 50. Her name is Donna Corin, and she has a workshop and brand called Empty Questers. And the whole idea is to help more or less women that are facing that next chapter of life without said kiddos maximize the journey. So what we thought would be good is in conjunction with that is do a quad with someone who's recently graduated college and kind of get the lens and feelings of both parent, adult, and then you, Connor, on those that have graduated college. Like you're kind of becoming an empty nester of sorts yourself, right? You're leaving the comfort of the college scene. You're leaving the comfort of the ecosystem of all your pals, and you're heading out into the real friggin' world, right? And hopefully off the payroll.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm speaking for a friend. So let's dive into it. And so we'll start with you, Connor. You know, to give the audience an idea, you went to Texas Christian University. You had a hell of a ride there. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better college experience, right? I mean, it was just magical.
That's great.
Yeah. And you're staying in Dallas. You accepted a job in Dallas, and you start in about a month, right?
Like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us kind of some of the things that you're both excited about and maybe feeling a little bit anxious and feeling trepidation about.
So I guess I'll start with what I'm most excited for. I'm definitely most excited to be in Dallas with all my friends. I have a lot of friends from school living there. I'm living with 2 of my buddies that were in my fraternity. So I think that's going to be a really good time. I'm definitely excited to meet new people out there. I think it's going to be a whole new world out there, and it's going to be way less of like the family college environment of TCU, because TCU is not a massive school. And so a lot of people kind of know everyone there, and I'm excited to kind of go branch out. What I say I'm worried about is definitely kind of the budgeting part of it. I'm going to kind of be off the payroll, so I'm going to have to figure out my spending, what works for me. I also need to be saving money. So I think that's a little nerve-wracking, but I think I've learned a lot about money and everything like that. So I think it should be pretty easy for me to kind of get a grip on it early, so I don't go into a lot of debt, because that would be very bad.
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited to go meet people. The only thing about Dallas that I'm not super thrilled for is like seeing kind of the same old people in college that, I mean, that aren't like my close friends. Obviously, I'm excited to see my close friends, but I kind of wanted to go do my own thing, and Dallas doesn't exactly allow that completely because I know so many people from TCU going to Dallas, but I think it'll make it an easier transition. So I am excited for that, and I think it'll be a lot less hard on me being with so many people that I know.
Okay. All right, I'm going to throw it down to you, Randi. This conversation happens recurringly with just about everyone I know that has college kids that are graduating or have graduated. A lot of people don't remove their children from the payroll. This is a philosophical thing, is that, how much do you make them suffer versus how much do you continue to subsidize? What is your thoughts here?
I do. I have a lot of thoughts. I really first want to comment on Connor's experience at TCU, because ironically, a lot of the girls and people that I work with are in college and they don't have the picture perfect experience. So I think it's really important that, and I don't know if it's a guy thing versus a girl thing. I work with mainly girls, but I mean, serious mega kudos to you for having such a great experience, because that's the majority of the people that I work with. It's not ideal, and it can be really hard, and it can be lonely, and you don't get in the right sorority.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a great, and then you said you're going to Dallas and, you want to meet new people. And I'm totally here for everything you're saying, but I would also add on this end of it, what I see is that you're also really lucky, and it's a blessing that there will be that support system there, because when you just jump off the cliff on your own, it's a lot scarier than you would think. And
yeah, absolutely.
I know this just from people I work with. But Laurie, to answer your question, it is a debate that a lot of people have. There's a lot of people in our area in San Diego that like to do what's called, a soft landing, so that their kids aren't just, cut off when they graduate. But now you have this whole new thing that's going on, which I would stand from the rooftops and scream. I would get naked and do this. I feel so confident in it, which is remote work. It freaking sucks. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you why I think that. I love the concept of hybrid and going into an office, even just 2 days a week. But they have created an environment where kids can have these jobs that are really good jobs, and they are working from their kitchen, from their bedroom, from their coffee shop. I mean, but you don't even have to get dressed if you don't want to.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right?
Not at all.
And you need, I believe, and the number one thing I feel in life is that we need people. We need social connection. And Laurie, you run companies, and Michelle, you run a company. I mean, business and all the stuff happens. Like, you could all get together and have a meeting, but let's not get it twisted. The meeting happens after the meeting, when you're walking to the elevator or when you're grabbing a brownie, so much to me is lost with this whole remote work. And I got off on that tangent because a lot of people, choose to live at home for that first year and do the remote job and save money. I just think it's a really, really important thing that our kids understand, that when they start budgeting, like what Connor's afraid about, right? The eating, going out, getting drinks, it's expensive. Yeah. Lifts are expensive. You start to see all these things that you absolutely take for granted, which you should, because we've been paying for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's just a really good way to start to understand the whole adulting world. And listen, again, the remote work, I just want to say, I get that it works for some people. These kids are traveling all over the world and they're making it work for them. But for the most part, we need to be around people. I don't care if it's 2 days a week. And so I couldn't emphasize that any stronger. So I think I don't even know what your job is, Connor, but yeah. I hope to heck you're going into an office at some point, because that's everything.
Yeah, I am going into an office. I think I have Fridays virtual, but
cool.
Which is, I think, perfect. So
yeah, perfect. We got him all decked out in his new business attire. It's gonna be.
Oh, I love it.
Did some shopping. It was nice.
Yeah. Cool. So, Randi, just to underscore, and then I'm going to ask you a kind of a different twist on this, Michelle. I agree, and I think that what you said is even more paramount for young college graduates. I feel like more than anyone, they need to be in that office dynamic and, sitting in a cubicle and having someone interrupt them and all the things that go on in the office and the spontaneous, crisis that happen, all of that we went through and the stress and, having to present yourself well and communicate. I think that's where, it concerns me that these young kids they're way behind the power curve if they don't have that in-office interaction. Okay, Michelle. So you have a young one, but you have nieces and nephews, right? And what's different, and Connor is kind of in this wheelhouse because Connor had a scholarship, so he did himself well. Kids that are athletes that have basically their whole college experience subsidized, even outside of the family unit, they have a real wake-up call happening, right? What are your thoughts? Have your sister, she talked about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's in the same space that you are, and just what Randi said. I mean, I think adulting is hard. We know that. We want to be able to have a little bit of a soft landing for for these young adults, but at the same time, we have to prepare them ahead of time. I think that, I can only speak for her. I think she tries to communicate those things like budgeting. And I mean, even I remember when they started college, it was like opening up a bank account and, you're responsible for paying bills. I know we laugh about it now because she'll be like, he forgot to pay it, or, it's the constant staying on top of them. And so I think that'll be an interesting transition to be like, I'm out. I even remember my father used to always say the free lunch program's over. He used to say it all the time when we graduated. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it was that point of just, we constantly were like, hey, I need money. Can you pay this? So just being able to pull that away, it's such a learning curve, and it's some of the greatest years because you will have times that you struggle or be like, man, do I want that? Do I really need it? So you're asking yourself those questions. And, I think you're going to make mistakes along the way at that age, as the kids do, but that's what it's about. It's all about learning.
Hey, you know what? I don't even know if Connor knows this. So when I was living in the Bay Area and I was first able to buy my first place, because it's very expensive, and back in the high tech days, it was ludicrous. So I finally was able to do that, but I didn't have enough for furniture. So literally we had Costco Tommy Bahama beach chairs in the living room, and we would open a cheap bottle of wine on a Friday night. Those were the best of times.
Those were the best. Yes,
best of times.
Those were the best times when you have, the ratty furniture.
We didn't care. Yeah.
No, you didn't care. And so you got to go through some struggle. And as you were saying, Randi, about, being in person, going into an office, I've been remote now for 10, 12 years, but the best memories I have were from those in-office stories, those experiences, those relationships. So I couldn't agree more that everyone needs to have that, that people connection in person.
Well, you know what else you lose? I'm sorry, but what else you lose when you have everything remote is like when you're in a conference room, and you know what I mean? What do they call? I can't even remember the name of the room. It's been so long since I've worked in an office.
War room?
Yes. You're in the war room and you've got the whiteboard, and you've got all the cookies in the center of the room, and everyone is talking and throwing ideas up, and people are, you don't have that on a Zoom because there's this Zoom etiquette. Like, I just went out of etiquette because Laurie kind of needs to navigate so we don't talk over each other. But you lose so much creativity when you're on that, you know what I mean? And like, you might have a thought, but you don't want to interrupt me while I'm talking, and you don't want to
and then all the shit talking that goes on when everybody leaves walking out of the conference.
Well, and Connor, like, you know this. I mean, Connor's walking in, a job where, I think he has other intentions over time to kind of grow and escalate. Mm-hmm. And, being in office, he has the opportunity to run into potential mentors or people that are connected and build his network. Yeah. And you can't do that over Zoom because everything is scheduled.
Yeah. And you know what else I would say about that is the opposite of that is you're going to run into and you're going to create relationships with people that you never thought that you would be friends with because, and I know you're in a fraternity, my niece is in a sorority. They both they both play collegiate sports. And
Mhm.
I had said to my nephew when I dropped him off last year, I'm like, go make friends with guys outside of the lacrosse field, please.
Yeah.
Like, go talk to other people, because that's the greatest thing is you make these friends that you maybe would never have. So, and you're going to have those quirky people in the office, or
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, it's so much fun. That's
Yeah,
the best.
I have great friends that are in other fraternities and stuff, and I think a lot of people or a lot of guys in fraternities are super like defensive or kind of closed off to kids in other fraternities, which I think is so dumb. But I definitely have made some great friends just meeting kids outside of my fraternity in classes and stuff. So I think that whole networking part is so important, and you just definitely can't get that on Zoom. So I'm definitely excited to kind of go in the office and meet some people.
Yeah, you'll meet some characters for
Yeah.
sure.
So
And,
think you guys saw the movie with Owen Wilson and the Google movie. What was that?
Best movie
Yeah.
ever. I love that movie.
internship.
Yeah,
Internship.
internship. Yes.
You know, that is a great example of what we're talking about, because here's
Yes.
these guys, and to know them is to love them. And they had the quirky guy that actually was a big time player that everyone thought was the misfit that actually made
Yeah.
decisions in recruiting and whatnot. That, I mean, that's the magic, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, Connor, this is kind of an interesting curveball to throw at you.
Okay.
So let's just put it out there. You kind of have surrounded yourself, and Dallas is no different. It's, you know, it's a very, in some ways, affluent city.
Yeah.
And you're going to be around kids where the parents are going to, because they have the ability to subsidize and help them. Do you feel that's going to be a rub for you because maybe your mom and dad aren't in that same lane, and you're going to have to feel a little bit more pain?
Yes and no. I think it's just gonna be annoying seeing my friends being able to do certain things and not really care about like the cost of it. And I don't even know if that's gonna be the case for a lot of my friends. I'm sure a lot of my friends are gonna be off the payroll too, but yes, and then also no, because I think it's important for us to learn early how to start saving and spending money and investing our money that we make. Because I think in like if you're not investing early, you're at a serious disadvantage. So I think it'll be good for me to kind of fall off and kind of just experience it on my own. So
Is that me?
it was me.
Oh,
Sean getting calls on his laptop.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this Sean Jabbar on the.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's key. I mean, I think there's a little element of hunger that needs to be instilled at an early age. You know, when I sold my first company, I had this really shitty silver Honda Prelude, and everyone's like, why are you driving that POS? And I was like, it keeps me hungry. So, okay, Randi, so you have a daughter that's been doing exactly what you've talked about. She's been graduated. She's been working remote now. So how has it been as a parent having your kid at home? Because honestly, if Connor had come back to one of the reasons why we didn't sell our house is we thought Connor might come back and he couldn't afford to live in San Diego with the rent prices. So we figured, well, he's going to come back home. We better keep the casa. So give us kind of your take after a couple years of doing this, where you're at.
So I've done this for about a year only.
Okay.
And it's funny. In the beginning, it's tough. You know, it's really rough. They get home from college and they do things a certain way with the dishes in the kitchen. Like if she eats, she'll clean her pan, like nothing goes in the dishwasher. She'll just clean it and put it there. And I'm like, why aren't you just throwing it in the dish? Like, it's just a weird, you know, so it definitely did take us a couple months of getting our groove, because also it would be like a lot of her friends are here doing the same thing. They have remote jobs. They're living at home. So they all go out, you know, in PB or in Encinitas.
Yeah.
And I found myself a few times driving her places. And then we both looked at each other one day and we were like, Like, this is batshit crazy. You know what I mean? You need to be taking yourself places. So it took a couple months to get into a rhythm. And then sadly, we did. We got into a rhythm where she kind of does her own thing and I do my own thing. And then, you know, she started to join us with some friends and play pickleball on the weekends. And that's really fun. Or, you know, join us for Mexican food and margaritas before she meets friends. And so, you know, but then we realized, okay, it's getting to be a little too comfortable and now it's time. You know what I mean? Because that, so it could have gone either way. We could have wanted to kill each other because at the 3-month mark, we really fought a lot and we don't really fight a lot. So it was ugly. And then once we got into a rhythm, it got too comfortable. And even she said, this is, you know, like, yes, it's going to kill me parting with my money because like you, we're going to have her pay, you know, and obviously we'll help out if needed. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's, you know, it's hard because we love our kids so much and always want them to feel like they are welcome here, and they always will be. But, you know, Mike and I constantly talk about when we left college, we left home. I went to New York. I remember bawling my eyes out the day that my dad left, you know, and I was scared to death. And it was like dropping your kid off at kindergarten and then he was gone. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. You know, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And it needs to happen after at least a year. It needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I know my dad's excited to kind of get on my ass about spending and stuff. He's always like that. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, your dad's kind of like, you know, he talks the talk, but sometimes doesn't walk the walk. I think I'm more the, yeah. So it'll be interesting. In all sincerity, I think that's the hard part is, you know, we have said to Connor that this is his time to thrive and figure it out. And we would help with occasional items and special things. But, you know, reality is, you know, can your dad, you know, will he keep his spine? I don't know. I mean, you know,
listen, I've seen my family side fold.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard because, you know,
well, and then you know,
people you love the most.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean, Connor kind of knows this because we're a pretty close family, but you know, what typically happens is the arguing between, you know, the husband and wife happen because they're thinking different things. And so, yeah. All right.
I don't think that's uncommon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am optimistic for you, Connor, because one, I think you're a great networker. And remember, we talk about network.
I agree. I like talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a finance major, so let's put that into use.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going into finance.
Yeah.
So that's going to be great. All right, any last minute things from anybody that, you know, Connor, any advice for us as parents? And how we deal with our kids. I mean, I do think that there is a sense of loss to some degree, and Randy, you might agree, is that, you know, used to be when you have a college kid, yes, you're an empty nester, but they come home a lot. They come home for a month in between semesters.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of time still at home. And, you know, Masood and I were talking, you know, with Connor, this is it. Like he's going to come home a little bit for the holidays, but
I don't even know how long I have off during the holidays or anything. So it'll be interesting.
That's so sad.
It's sad because like it's hard for me too, because obviously I want to spend time with my family, but there's also like I also see my family a lot because I know they're going to be in Dallas sometimes. I know they're going to go see my brother, and like it's hard to kind of balance between seeing my family, and I obviously care more about my family than my friends, but I also need to keep my relationships with my friends because I have really good friends at home. So just kind of like going to be like I'm gonna have to figure out how to balance that when I come home for a short period of time. So that's what
I think that's a great point because whether you know, you're still in college or going off, because I think so much of your life is surrounded, especially as parents, around the kids, and they're trying to juggle it too, you know. I mean, again, just as an aunt, I'm like, I want to see the kids. I'm like, oh, you're only home for so long. And, you know, I know they're busy. And so I try to respect it, even though I would like to see them every single day, single day. So yeah, it's kind of sad. I
It
feel
is sad.
bad, Marie. I know you,
Yeah.
Randy, you
No, well,
guys
you know what? I'm really excited too. And Connor's right. The great thing about Dallas is it's 2.5 hour flight. But I remember when I was, after I graduated, I was commissioned as an officer and went over to Germany. And I would have to tell my dad when I had time off, I wanted to see Germany and Switzerland and France. It's like
Yeah.
no coming home to California. So it is
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard because you do feel that sense of guilt, Connor. But
Yeah.
you're going to want to see the world, and you have a couple buddies that are in New York doing the Manhattan deal. You're going to want to go see them, and
Exactly. It's just
you got to
tough.
do,
Like,
yeah, you got to do all of
Yeah, you
that.
I
gotta
gotta
do
keep my
you.
relationships. That's like the main thing for me is I have so many good friends that I really want to keep. And I think if I just never see them, it's tough to do that. Like even like Koji and Creelman, I have two buddies that go to Arizona, and I remember I kept telling them I'd come out and visit them, but I ended up never doing it because I was doing so much other stuff at school, and I didn't want to miss time off at school, and so I just felt so bad that I never visited, and I just don't want that to happen with any of my friends. I don't want them to feel like I'm not putting the effort out to go see them.
Yeah.
Well, if
Well,
it makes you feel better, I would just say my closest best friends are still my friends from college.
Good.
So,
Okay. That makes me feel better.
and I'm old.
Yeah.
So,
You're not old.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to add to that, my husband is still, he still has a squad of like 25 guys from his fraternity. And I'm
Perfect.
not kidding you, Connor, during basketball season, his phone is popping off like nonstop.
Yeah.
And he can't look at it because they're 3 hours ahead of us. So it's like,
Mhm.
I have to hear this thing just going off.
Yeah.
But literally his best friends, and he never gets to see them, unless he goes
Yeah.
back to New York or back east. So, which he does once in a while. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Well, you know
Mhm.
what I like, Connor, and this is what's really cool is I mean, I don't have that same thing with college and my early career because it was weird. But I'm just gonna be honest, it was not traditional pathway here. But you're gonna start to do like we do girls trips.
Oh,
And
boys trips are
yeah, you guys are
lot.
gonna do like ski trips or
Yeah.
fishing
Golf
or
trips.
golf trips, and that's gonna be really, really rad and
No, that's what
meaningful.
I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah, and
For sure.
I mean, we know it when you have really good quality friends with history,
Figure it
you
out.
you cannot see them for 3 years, and somehow
Yeah.
you guys get together. It's like it was like yesterday, right?
yeah,
And
and
my
you
group
still,
chats every day. Like my group chats every day, I get probably 200 texts per day per group chat. Just my friends just saying random stuff, and I absolutely love it.
well, it doesn't stop because I
Yeah.
still get those too. And then you pick up right where you left off. Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. That's what I've
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last things, Connor, that we as parents you would wish we did better, or that
No, nothing.
I mean, you guys all talk about us behind our backs.
Yeah.
What is your big complaint? I mean, I've
I
kind of
don't
been
really
more
have a
hands off with
complaint.
you.
I don't have a complaint. Just yeah, I think parents need to be more hands off. I think so many parents nowadays are so in their kids' lives, they don't like kind of let them figure things out on their own. And I think you learn the most. I learned way more out like in college from social experiences than I did in the classroom.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think just like, and you did a pretty good job of letting me kind of do my own thing. Dad does a great job of it. I will say that he doesn't really.
Dad's never, it's always the
Yeah,
dad. You notice
yeah,
that?
and
Like,
I know my mom was like, it was hard for her, and sometimes I know you do care. Like I obviously know you care so much, but sometimes I'm just like, like I need some space, and I think
yeah,
that's
it's
every
always
single
the
kid in
mom
America.
gets the
So
shit end of the stick.
yeah,
Always.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's every kid
It is, yes.
has like some sort of like, yeah, I need a little bit more space. So I think you did a great job of that though. So
Well, one thing I will say is that I do respect the fact that you have your own individual identity and social life, and I think that's really important because that's how I was brought up.
yeah,
Friends are important, and socialization is key. And I think sometimes sometimes you see these families, and especially now after the pandemic, it's like they fucking do everything together, and I'm like
yeah,
looking at them like, well, that's cool once in a while, but like
yeah,
kids need friends their own age,
yeah. I
right?
think the
Like,
most important thing are friends and family. Like I don't think there's one thing that is more important than friends and family. So Yeah,
Does that include Gooby?
absolutely.
Yeah, the pet. We are a little dog.
I wish I could
Okay.
bring him to Dallas. It's a little stress toy.
Yeah, he's a stressor. Okay, I got something fun to end with, and then Connor, what we do, and I don't know if you prepared for this, but we like to leave the audience with a rule to live by. So think about it a little bit.
I'll think about it a little bit.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask these questions, gang, and see if Connor's really ready to call himself a Texan. Okay. So you know you're a Texan, ... and you just tell me facts or no. Okay.
Yeah.
Or what do you say? Bet? What, whatever lingo you use.
I'll just say yes or no. It's okay.
Okay, you typically notice more Texas flags than American flags. True or false?
Yeah, that's pretty true. There's a lot of Texas flags. I even
Okay.
have a shirt with a Texas flag on it.
Okay. You know someone who ate a 72-ounce steak and got it for free.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't myself.
All right. You're one for
I'm
one.
sure there is people.
Okay. You prefer Whataburger to Mickey D's, McDonald's.
That's blasphemous.
Really?
Blasphemous. I like the honey butter chicken biscuit, but that's about it.
Okay. So
Mhm.
far, you're
HBCBs are undefeated though. If you haven't tried a honey butter chicken biscuit from Whataburger,
No.
you're missing
Well,
out.
yeah, Whataburger's everywhere, and
Yeah.
What
yeah.
are you talking about? Whataburger? Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah,
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Am I saying it
Oh.
wrong? Whataburger.
think-
You're saying it like Waterburger.
I was like, what's a Whataburger?
No, it's not a Whataburger. It's a Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Right?
Wada. Yeah, like
Wada.
Wada. We call it Wada.
Whata.
Okay. You know what a cowboy Cadillac is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Okay, well, I've heard, I don't know. We need to go down this. We can.
Okay. Is it not appropriate for
Well, now
your
I'm
audiences?
I'm Googling it right now.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. You don't
It's just
consider
multiple.
people from Austin true Texans.
I mean, there is true Texans in Austin, but it's the land of fruits and nuts. It's like California.
Okay. Do you know a pastor, or does your pastor wear cowboy boots?
Do I know a pastor? Yeah. Does he wear cowboy boots now?
Okay. Boy, I'm thinking you need a lot of growth in your Texan. Okay. The only real Mexican food is Tex-Mex.
I mean, I don't think that. That's not fair to ask me because I love
Okay.
Mexican food in California.
Okay. Last question.
Okay, hit me.
All right. I'm thinking you're California in Texas. Okay. Do you go to a formal event dressed to the nines with cowboy boots?
Yes.
Okay. Ding, ding. All right. There might be hope.
Yeah.
There might be hope. Okay. You did great, Connor. Proud
Thank
of you. And
Thank
I think you're going to have a great time in your Dallas little penthouse and with your boys. And
Penthouse, the crib.
yeah, we're just hoping for no calls of the credit card is.
Oh, trust me, I'm shaking every
answer.
time I pull that out of my wallet.
Good. I love it. Okay, Randi, we're going to start with you. Rules to live by for this week. You had a great one last week.
Well, this week I would just go with, along the theme of what I've been posting lately, is don't let the mean girls get to you, and girls, take your power back.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Yeah. You had a really bad pickleball incident.
I had a really bad pickleball incident, but I've learned a lot from it because I did a post on TikTok, and the amount of engagement I've received is epic. And the amount of stories that women have told me, I think everybody is sick of the mean girls. And so it's like, we just have to stand up for ourselves.
I gotta
Yeah.
hear this incident. What happened?
I was bullied very badly at open play the other day. And to know me is to know that I don't really take shit. I'm pretty
Shouldn't.
solid, right? But this woman bullied me so badly and belittled me for about 15 minutes, so badly that I left the court. I screamed at her and she just kept telling everybody, I'm just giving her tips. And I'm like, you're not giving me tips. You're being very mean to me. And so I leave.
Condescending.
Yeah.
It was so bad, Connor. I get in the car and I call my husband and I burst out crying. Like I can't even, I'm in hysterics.
Yeah.
And he's like, didn't you just leave the pickleball court?
Yeah.
Like, what in the hell is going on? And I'm like, Michael. And it was a horrible experience. So I waited a day. I cried all day about it because I've never been treated like that. I really have not. I
That's
work
horrible.
with girls who have mean girl experiences, but I don't like mean girls, but I had never felt the sting of it. So after crying all day, I made this TikTok video and I have gotten so many stories. So I think I really hit a nerve. Like people are done with mean girls. It's like, what's your problem? What is your problem?
I think we need to do a quad on it.
I do too, because it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal. You know, I was thinking about you last night, Randi, because I went to that pro pickleball clinic and I, by and large, think I can hold my own on the pickleball court. Well, I mean, I was with some women that were insanely good and it was intimidating. So I was thinking of you in the back of my mind because I was thinking, God, if Randi would be here, it was intimidating. And I was feeling stressed not to mess up because I knew what they were thinking is that, oh my God, we have someone who's not at our level. And there's something about pickleball though. And Michelle, I know you're starting down your pickleball journey. And I'm proud of you for it. Yeah, I'm proud of you. There is something about this sport that 100% given personality type brings out the worst of us. I mean, it's a fact and you just gotta, and you'll see them and you'll have to navigate. And there's been times where, one time I walked off the pickleball court because it's ridiculous. So, okay, good point. And thank you for bringing that up. And I think Mean Girls is a great topic to talk about because I think we've all been on the receiving end of something like that or know someone who has. All right, Michelle, what's yours for this week?
Mine's simple. Wear sunscreen.
Oh yeah.
Connor, you're gonna be in the sun. Wear sunscreen.
I need to pick it up. I've been lacking on that.
You got that young skin now, but
Yeah.
trust us.
Yeah. Okay, Connor, you know this one and you're guys, you're gonna love it. And maybe this will trigger something in your mind.
I already know what I'm gonna say.
You do? Okay. So smart people shouldn't silence themselves in order to make stupid people feel less offended.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that I think a lot of times people with wisdom or experience or thoughts about stuff don't silence yourself or be quiet just because you're afraid of offending someone who isn't as knowledgeable or hasn't deep dived or read a fucking book. That's all I'll say. Okay, Connor, let's go.
Don't care what other people think about you.
Yeah.
Hard yes.
That's so, I love that one.
Hard yes, but
be weird, man. Stay weird.
I think
Hard-
the main thing behind that is the people that judge you most are the people that are the most insecure about themselves.
100%.
yeah. That's a really good one. And that's a really hard one.
It's
and,
hard.
you know,
I've been working on it. So.
I mean, God, Connor.
I think it definitely gets easier with age. I feel like
absolutely.
You just stop. I don't know. You just stop caring. You're like, whatever. I don't care if you like me.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, Connor, you've been with me on this podcast journey and by the way, very supportive. And I'm so appreciative of that because not all kids support what the parents are doing, especially if it's a public way.
Yeah.
But it took me a beat because I think this podcast, one of the silver linings has been for me to turn a corner where, yeah, I don't really care. I'm going to be me. And some people are going to love it. And some people are going to be like, you're not my people. And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. We did good. And Randi and I on the side with the Magoo glasses and
I love it. I wish I had a pair to put on.
Michelle's hair looks just like a pinup poster. And
wow,
Connor's getting a haircut today in preparation for Dallas. I love it.
We want to see a picture in the suit or the shirt and tie.
Yeah, really. We want to see the
No,
new
you know what?
I don't even wear a suit and tie. I just collared shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's working at Charles Schwab headquarters, which is great. And they have a little bit of a kind of a smart casual policy. So
nice.
Doesn't always have to wear.
Better.
You know what I love what he's doing is he's wearing a lot of whites, which is we went shopping and I was really blown away with this new sense of style. I want green pants and
Well,
you know.
yeah, and isn't it nice it's nice that it's a little more casual. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
back when we were in the corporate world, it was like full. Do you remember, ladies? Like we were in
Pantyhose.
suits. Yes, we were in
Yeah.
full suits. And then I remember I used to try to dress and look older because I was so young at in like a higher level position. So I had like the suits on.
Yeah.
It was just, it was awful looking
I
back.
came to my first day of my internship with a suit on, and they're like, you do not.
What are you
wear that."
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 110 degrees. Like it's
That's so
probably
funny.
dangerous to wear a suit.
Yeah, you looked really handsome though. I was really proud of you.
Yeah, you
Thank
still
you.
gotta show up to impress.
Okay,
I will dress to impress.
I'll leave you with one little thing and then we'll bid our adieu. So Connor, I know that your ultimate goal is to be your own boss and start your own company. And I love you jotting down your ideas and concepts and
Yeah,
innovations.
my notes out.
And to kind of dovetail into the suit thing. So we were all in suits and this was back in the high tech heyday where, it was like the gold rush. The internet was just coming into the fold of things. And I'll never forget, we were all in our monkey suits and we were laying out the PowerPoint presentations because we wanted to buy out this company, and the founder and CEO of the company comes in and literally we were all in, everyone was in suit ties, and he came in with ripped jeans, flip-flops, and like a oversized t-shirt that looked 100 years old, and he sat at the head sat at the head of the table where our CEO would typically sit, and he sat Indian style. And I'll never forget, I said to myself, I want what he has. So there you go. All right, gang. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners and viewers. And we'll catch you next week. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram at She's a 10 times 5. You can click on the link in our bio to listen to all of our previous episodes, as well as check out our live video interviews over our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, pretty much wherever else you decide to listen to your favorite podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe.